There's something ancient in the feeling of bringing greenery into the home during winter. Long before Christmas as we know it, people used evergreens to symbolize life during the darkest months. I love that we still do this today, bringing in branches and berries and boughs of pine, filling the air with that deep forest scent. It's a small act of reclaiming warmth, of choosing beauty, and reminding ourselves that even in the long dark of winter, there is still life, color, and magic. Hello, friends. It is December. I cannot believe it. It feels like this year has flown by and Thanksgiving just passed. So that means it's time to finally decorate for Christmas and Yuletide. I struggled to get into the Christmas spirit a little bit. I think I was rebelling against the algorithm pushing Christmas content even before Halloween. So I was getting Christmas videos on YouTube before Halloween. And then after Halloween, it really ramped up, like the first week after Halloween. And I just wasn't ready then to do Christmas. I don't want to say enjoy my Halloween decorations more, because I do feel like I had plenty of time with that. I did take down my Halloween pretty much right after Halloween, but I left up my fall decorations to go through Thanksgiving. And usually I do start pulling out Christmas stuff kind of mid-November, and it might start mingling with fall. And I think I mentioned in previous decorating videos that I don't ever do it like all at one time, because it's just too much to do all up and down at one time. So I have been starting to pull my stuff out, and I wanted to spend this time on this video decorating and also doing some crafts and cooking type things. So I made some hot cider, which I guess I missed cider season at the grocery store, because I do remember seeing it at the end of summer, like August, September. There's cider everywhere. But I think of hot cider as a Christmas thing, like especially mulled cider with mulling spices, and especially mulled wine, which you can mix the cider in the wine. So I made mine with apple juice. Actually, it was the closest thing I could find to cider, and actually the Simply Apple had the least amount of sugar, so I felt like it would be the least sweet, which I did not want an overly sweet cider. And then I added the mulling spices, which you could make your own mulling spices for sure. I was just not in that headspace to make my own right now, so I used some that I already had. And then add a splash of wine or not, whatever floats your boat. I think the splash of wine helps add that deeper flavor and gets me personally in the relaxed state of mind that I need to start decorating. So you already saw in the intro that I have started dehydrating some oranges. That's going to be part of my decor. I need to decorate the tree and the mantle, or not the mantle, but the fireplace. And something I really like, I've always liked this aesthetic, but like the old world Victorian kind of Christmas. I feel like that's really becoming even more popular, but I've liked it for years. Like all my ornaments are wood. I like that rustic kind of Christmas look. So I want to go even bigger with that this year and have more greenery. I have gotten a mixture of real and fake greenery. I like real greenery, but it's messy, obviously. Like you get needles everywhere. And so in some areas, I think I'm going to lean towards like an artificial greenery, but I have gotten some real because I like the smell. I like the different textures of like pine and cedar along with the fir. So I'm going to pull out everything I have and kind of go from there. Basically put bows everywhere. I think it was last year I got really into bows. So I got even more bows this year and more ribbon to add all over the place. This room, my dining room, is already green. I in my head call it the green room because my curtains are green, my rug is green. So green stuff like Christmassy would really blend. It would kind of like fade, I think, into, and also because it's like the light is dim. So I think the pops of red would be really nice in here, especially against my china cabinet. So I want to add some bows to that. So feel free to grab your own cozy drink, hot cider, hot chocolate, whatever is your drink of choice, and decorate my house for Christmas with me. And also, and I also want to make some peppermint bark. Peppermint bark is one of my favorite Christmas things, like how the the fall flavor is pumpkin spice everything, and Christmas is peppermint, and I love peppermint bark. I've never actually made it, but I think it's pretty easy. And I wanted to do like a little sweet treat today that was not overly complicated or take a lot of time because I just don't have it in my mental space at this moment. So I think it would be a nice, easy treat that I can work on kind of in between decorating because you have to do it layer by layer. So I think that's actually where we should start is start on the peppermint bark, work on the first layer, and then pull out all the greenery and see where I have. And I said I don't like to do a big up and down, but because I have left up my fall decorations, I do need to take those down. So it will be a swap of like, take off this garland to add this garland, and then we'll add the touches here and there. So let's get started. I'm going to be honest and admit that I was never really a faux garland or greenery person until that fall garland, because partly because of storage space. Like I historically have not always lived in places where I had a ton of storage options. So having faux garlands and greenery meant I'd have to store it somewhere. But also because I struggle with shaping it to where it looks natural. So I got this garland, and I do think it's has some good fullness to it, but obviously I need to shape it and make it look nice uh before it will really look good, and I'm going to struggle with that. So, okay. Now, did get two garlands because I want it to be super full. So, I think I'm going to go ahead. Well, I guess let me start shaping. Okay, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I think it has some nice fullness across the top and thinner on the sides, which is kind of what I was expecting and what I was going for. When from far away, you can't really see the spots where the middle is. Like each garland is not the fullest, but together I think they do a good job, and they have those little pine cones, which add some interest. And I do have some real greenery that I could stick in there to just kind of make it a little fuller. And then I also have to hang the stockings. So the way to make a homemade fresh greenery garland is you need to take a string, some kind of something to be the base of it. So I'm going to use jute, and you need 1.5 to 2 feet per foot of length that you want to have a garland. So my banister that I want to do is 6 feet. So I want at least 9 feet, if not 12. Um, I might, I think I'm going to do 12 because that will give me a good swag. And I usually do, like, for that length, I usually do like a swag every 2 feet. So then that gives like enough. It doesn't have to be like really dramatic. So yeah, I think I'm going to do 12 feet. So I need to measure that out. And then if you're doing like a fireplace mantle where you want to have like a center where everything's going out, then you would start in the center of the string and go like face your greenery one way and then face it the other way. So it would be like symmetrical. At least that's how I would do it if it was for a fireplace or like a mantle. For a garland, like on a staircase, you probably want all the greenery to be going in the same direction. So then you can start at the end and work your way down. It's just a matter of preference of how you want it to look in the end. But either way, once you start in a direction, it really kind of needs to stay in that direction to look cohesive and have like a nice flow. So I'm going to start at the end, and I'm gonna make a loop first. So I have something to tie to the banister. You can use the boughs like this that have like the really long sticks, but I'm going to cut this off because I don't want this to be really thick. So I'm going to cut this, but still use like the rest of the greenery. I think it's a preference, it's just how I prefer to work with it. And so basically, we're going to start adding like stem by stem bits of greenery and then wrapping the wire around and overlapping it. We're going to use shorter strands and make sure that it's completely overlapping so that every layer makes it look full and not like these long sticks with like no greenery showing. And so here's my fir branches. I'm going to use a little bit of this. Okay. So I have like a cedar, a pine, and a fir all together. And I'm going to start wrapping this with wire at the end of my string. Just go around it a few times. And then now we have our string. We have our wire. We've connected these few pieces. And then now we're going to overlap a new layer. So start a little bit farther down and then add this next layer. Kind of like figure out how you want it to lay. Like sometimes I even cut these bigger pieces down into smaller so I have more control. So like I think I'm going to cut this one here. So I have this smaller piece now and then this smaller piece. And then let's get another little piece of fir. The main thing you want to make sure is that the string doesn't get twisted around. So I'm keeping everything to the front, and then the back is going to look, well, it actually looks a little, oh goodness, what have I done? See, I've already messed it up. So I have, this is the back, this is the front, because I want it to be like a one-sided. If you want it to be all around, then you would need to make sure that your branches go completely around.